All right, it's on. Let's see if it's going to let me on or not. See if we can't figure this thing out. Okay. I'm telling you what, it still looks choppy to me. I don't know what the issue is as to why it's doing this. Not quite sure why it's still doing this, folks. Very strange. Something with the YouTube app, perhaps. I may have to end up recording this if it doesn't clear up. I don't know what the issue is right now. Obviously, there's an issue somewhere in the YouTube app causing some problems. So I don't know what it is about it. I thought maybe restarting this might be the way to do it, but I'm not so sure now. Let's see something else here. Let me take a look at something here. All right, let's see if that came out. Or my hand got in the way, so that's not going to help. Okay. So much for that idea. All right. See if it has cleared up all. Looks like it's cleared up some. Looks like it's gotten better. Whatever was going on seems to, at least on my end, seems to have cleared up just a bit. Yeah, thank you, Philip, for that confirmation. Okay, so all right, so we're gonna go with it from here, and hopefully it will stay clear. We shall see. All right, so the first at bat, for those that missed it on the first attempt at the stream, the first at bat, we rolled a 410 for Lou Whitaker, and it was a fly to left off of Mike Campbell, who's making his major league debut. Good morning, Paul. So this is my second attempt at this stream. First one came out real choppy. Hopefully this one is doing better. So Lou Whitaker flies out to left field. One away. I'm not going to take that away from Mike Campbell. He earned that out. So that was a legitimate role. So I'm not going to take that away from him for sure. So now we're ready for Bill Madlock. Madlock hitting 265 on the replay, 4 homers, 10 driven in. He hit 279 real world. Designated hitter. And we end up with a 3-7. And the 3-7 for Madlock is going to be a solid single to right field. So base hit Bill Madlock. He's no threat to runs. So they won't even hold him. And that brings up Kirk Gibson. Gibson on the replay hitting 330, 13 homers, 41 driven in. He hit 277 real world. 311 for Gibson is a hit by pitch. So Campbell plunks him. Gibson not too happy about it. Looking out at the rookie. Kind of staring him down a little bit. First and second, one out for the league's leading hitter, Alan Trammell. Trammell hitting 421 on the replay, and this is in 271 at bats, so sample size is definitely there. 16 homers, 61 driven in. He at 343 real world. That's a 2, so it's a balk or pass ball possibility. We're looking at a balk chance. Campbell's balk chance is an 8, 1-8. And that will be a balk. So Campbell may be getting a little unnerved from the stare down from Gibson, has balked the runners into scoring position. And now that takes the double play away, and it's going to bring the Seattle infield in against Alan Trammell. That's a 1-8 for Trammell. It doesn't matter. That's a single to center field about the infield being in. They got to base it anyway. Gibson most likely will score as well. The single went to center. Center fielder arm is Moses. He's a 0. Gibson runs at a 17 as a trail runner, not being held as an 18. So he's going to score without a throw because they want to keep Trammell at first base. So Moses will just hit the cutoff man, but it is a 2-run single off the bat of Alan Trammell. RBI 62 and 63 for Trammell. The Tigers lead it 2-0. Hopefully it still looks like it's still okay on the stream. So Trammell is aboard. He's going to try to get a lead. And let's see, he needs a 5 to get the lead. Does not get it, so he'll hold. For catcher Matt Noakes. Noakes on the replay, hitting .335, 24 homers, 70 driven in. He hit .289 real world. That's a 5'8 lefty. Struck him out. First strikeout, first major league career strikeout for Mike Campbell. And Matt Noakes is his person that he pulled that feed on. 2 down now for Pat Sheridan. Sheridan, the right fielder, hitting .251, 4 homers, 23 driven in. He hit .259 real world. 4-7, and that's a walk. So that'll put runners at first and second. First walk issued by Campbell. You can tell he's getting a little wild, walking the batter, hitting the batter. And now the veteran Darrell Evans steps to the plate, first baseman. And Evans on the replay is hitting .267, 18 homers, 47 driven in. He at .257 real world. Clutch situation. In the clutch, he will gain some hits, 1-6 and 110. That's a 3-7, and he will strike out to end the inning. But the Tigers put 2 on the board here in the first. 2-run single from Alan Trammell. And at the end of half an inning to play, it's Detroit 2 and Seattle coming to bat. And the Tigers have given this 2-0 lead over to Jack Morris. And we'll take a look at Morris's card in a close-up fashion. Jack Morris, 1987, 18-11 with a .338 earned run average. On the replay, Jack Morris is 8-7. His ERA is 3.80. 123 innings pitched, only 89 hits, 30 walks, and 103 strikeouts. And he'll be facing leadoff man Mike Kingery for Seattle. Kingery hitting .260 on the replay, 5 homers, 20 driven in. He at .280 real world. And I did do a ceremonial first pitch on the previous video, so that's why I didn't do one here. But if anybody wants to see, ceremonial first, it's kind of late for a ceremonial first pitch now, I guess. Or ceremonial first sip, I mean. All right, here's Kingery. 2-4 for Kingery, and he's going to pop it up to Trammell. 1 away. Tomorrow we'll be at the first game of the July 5th schedule, and we'll be at the Metrodome in Minnesota for the Orioles and the Twins. It'll be the first game on Sunday, July the 5th. It'll be Bert Blyleven for the Twins against Dave Schmidt for the Orioles. That'll be tomorrow to round out the week. Here's Phil Bradley. Bradley hitting .228, 9 homers, 32 driven in. He at .297 real world, so he is their Joe Carter as far as an ultimate underperformer. 2-4 for Bradley, and that's a ground ball to Trammell. Trammell takes care of the first 2 outs easily. 1 away. Or 2 away now, actually. And here comes Alvin Davis, first baseman. Alvin Davis hitting .281 on the replay, 14 homers, 43 driven in. He hit .295 real world. 1-8 for Davis, and that's a home run on a 1-16. 17-20 is a double. Davis has 14 home runs. This would be home run number 15 if he gets it, 1-16. And he gets it. Alvin Davis, home run number 15. And that cuts the lead in half. Davis's 15th home run, RBI number 44. Cuts the lead to 2-1 on that 1-8 result. And now that brings up the hound dog, Jim Presley. Presley hitting .212 on the replay. 13 homers, 49 driven in. He at .247 real world. 6-2, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. And again, that's Trammell. He's a 1. We know he's going to get to it. We're just looking at E21. And for an E21 shortstop, he has to avoid 6, 15, and 17. Those are the three numbers to miss. And he does that just very easily. So Trammell ends up recording all three outs, except for the home run ball by Alvin Davis, of course. But that's going to end up doing it for the Mariners. They get one run, cut that lead in half, and at the end of one, it's 2-1 Detroit. And here comes Mike Campbell again. Now he's got his feet wet. He's going to see about what he can do. I think he only lasted about 2 innings in the real game. So I know I looked it up, they used Roy Thomas for 5 innings of relief. So Roy Thomas is their designated long reliever because he pitched 5 innings of relief in the real game. So we're looking at that. All right, here's Chet Lemon. Lemon hitting .232, 5 homers, 21 driven in, at .277 real world. And that is a 5-10. 5-10 on Campbell is a fly to center. John Moses puts it away. 1 down. And that'll send us to Tom Brookins. Brookins, third baseman for the Tigers. And on the replay, he's hitting .232, 4 homers, 23 driven in. He at .241 real world. That's a 3-6. And he grounds it to short. Ray Quinones makes the play. 2 up, 2 down. So much better start for Campbell in this inning. Now we're back to the top of the order for Whitaker. He flew to left first time up. He rolled a 4-10, and it was a fly to left on Campbell's card. That was in the other video. Whitaker this time around, 6-8, will strike out, and that's going to end the inning. Third strikeout for Campbell. So we know Campbell at least is going to go 3 innings or into the third inning. He's got a fatigue of 6, but in his season debut, he got knocked out pretty early. So Scott Bradley is going to step to the plate for the Mariners, their catcher. Bradley on the replay, hitting .294, 2 homers, 35 driven in, at .278 real world. 6-8, and that's the leadoff walk. First walk issued by Jack Morris. Scott Bradley is no threat to run. He will not even be held. And here comes the big guy, the designated hitter, Ken Phelps. Phelps hitting .267, 16 homers, 42 driven in. He hit .259 real world. That's a 111 for Phelps, and that's a ground ball pitcher A. That's the pitcher's best friend. It's a 1-6-3 double play. Not a Giovanni's Tailor Shop double play, but a double play nonetheless. And the Tigers will take it. Clears the bases. 1-6-3 DP. 2 down bases clear now for John Moses. Moses hitting .241 on the replay. 3 homers, 34 driven in, at .246 real world. 1-9 for Moses, and that is a pop out to Trammell, and that's going to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the second. Still 2-1. And I must say, I really enjoyed the Rockies and Reds game last night. Really a fun game. Probably the most fun I've had with a 2025 game so far. Thanks to Brian B. for managing the Reds for me and helping me out with the decision making. Of course, we ran into some modern rules that we forgot about that we had to quickly correct, like the 3-batter rule and so forth. And it was my first experience at using a ghost runner, so that was interesting. So game 2 of that series will be tonight around 9:15. So here's Bill Madlock. Madlock singled and scored his first time up. 3-5 for Madlock. It's a 1 for a single. Anything else, he lines it to short. And he will line it to Quinones for 1 away. So if you missed that game, I think it's worth a look. Here's Kirk Gibson. Gibby was hit by a pitch his first time up. 4-10. That's a fly to left. 2 down. So Campbell's starting to stabilize a bit. Here is Alan Trammell. 2-run single his first time up. 2-10 for Trammell. This time he grounds it to Quinones, and that is now 7 in a row set down by Mike Campbell after that rough start. Bottom of the third, 2-1 is our score. Yeah, I try to mix it up. Well, the only reason I'm doing that is because I bought the Barnes & Noble game, and it came with the 2025 set. And, of course, you could send away for next to nothing for the additional players. So I figured I'd try something with it. And then I was just perusing through YouTube, as I often like to do because I don't really watch a whole lot of modern TV. So just going through YouTube, seeing what was out there. And I stumbled across a Rocky Horror Picture Show stream of somebody doing some talking about the show. I think it was his 50th anniversary was recently or something like that. And then the thought hit me: Rocky Horror Picture Show, Colorado Rockies. Rockies were the worst team in Major League Baseball, setting the record, I think, for the worst record of all time, or at least one of the worst starts of all time, which was 9-50 after 59 games. So I put 2 and 2 together and said, hey, let's do a Rocky Horrors baseball show. And that's how the whole idea came along, just from perusing YouTube and happened to find, run across a Rocky. I mean, I haven't thought about it. I've never seen the whole Rocky Horror Picture Show. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I know it was like a cult classic back in the 80s, but this wasn't my deal. But, it spawned an idea. So I guess that's, whether that's good or bad, I don't know. But if you wonder where people get ideas from for their projects or whatever, they can come from the strangest places. I'm telling you that. They can come from the strangest place, come from YouTube, they can come from another creator, they can come from something you read in a book, something you see online, something you watch in real life. I mean, there's all kinds of things that happen there. All right, bottom of the third, Ray Quinones hitting 244 on the replay, 5 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 276 real world. That is a 110 for Ray Quinones, and he's going to fly to center. And that's 1 away. 1 down for Harold Reynolds, second baseman. Harold Reynolds hitting 301 on the replay. No homers, 20 driven in. He hit 275 real world. And that's a 6-5 switch hitter batting left. That's an in-home run chance for a 1. He's got weak power, though. So it would only be a single, but in 2-20 is going to be a fly to right to end the inning. And that's exactly what it is. Pat, not end the inning, I'm sorry, second out. But Pat Sheridan there to put it away. 2 down. Back to the top of the order from Mike Kingery. 5-10, and that is a ballpark single check, which is only a 1-5 at the Kingdom. So he will fly to center field, and that will take care of business. Morris goes 1, 2, 3 in the third. We played 3. It's Detroit 2 and Seattle 1. Campbell back out. He's already lasted longer in this game than he did in the real game. We'll see how long. I mean, if he's effective, we'll keep him in there. Simple as that. If he struggles, then we'll see Roy Thomas. Here's Noakes. He struck out his first chance. 1-5 for Noakes, and that's a solid home run. As someone once said, clean as a baby's bottom. They used a different word, but whatever. So Matt Noakes, 1-5. There it is against the right-hander. Solid as can be. No D20 needed. Matt Noakes a home run. Gives the Tigers a 3-1 lead. And for Matt Noakes, that is home run number 25 on the replay. He hit 32 real-world home runs. So he's definitely above his pace. He's only about half of his at-bats. And he's already got 25 out of his 32 home runs. So he's definitely ahead of the pace on home runs for sure. Tigers lead at 3-1, and here is Pat Sheridan. Sheridan walked his first time. Dan, sometimes it can be like me or Dave Gardner or whoever, and we just love futility. And I think, with his 1899 Spiders or something, and now doing the Rockies. Skeens would be a pitcher replay, obviously, is good because it's only like 25 or 30 games tops. It's not a big commitment. And you get to play all the teams against all the other teams, I should say. So here's Sheridan, 6'7", lefty. Ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Quinones. He is a 3. 3 and a 16, he'll get to that. His error rating is an E31. So as an E31, it's a lot of numbers to avoid. 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18. So 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18. And that is a 16. That's going to be an error, probably a 2-base error on Quinones. 31 and no, it's actually a 1-base error. 16 is a 1-base error. So it's a 1-base error on Quinones, and Pat Sheridan will reach. First error of the game on either team. Quinones not helping out his young pitcher. Yeah, I'm sure Kurt has as well. All right, so Sheridan, let's see, the +5 hold rating, that's going to tempt Sheridan to try to get a lead because you get that +5 boost. That's a 1, so Campbell, I'm sorry, it's a 1, so Sheridan might be picked off. His get-back number is 11, and he is picked off. So Sheridan gets picked off by Campbell as he couldn't get back in time. Kind of strayed away from the base too far. Got his foot on that carpet, and that was just too far. Couldn't get back in time. Campbell picked him off. 1 away, and here comes Darrell Evans. There's a 5-5, and that's going to be a ballpark blast for Darrell Evans. This could go 1-17 is a 2-run home run for Darrell Evans. He hit 34 home runs real world. He's had 18 on the replay so far. Going for home run number 19. Needs a 1-17 to secure it, and he does. Darrell Evans, home run number 19 on the replay for Darrell Evans. He had 34 of those things real world. This one, number 19 on the replay, RBI number 48. And if Sheridan hadn't gotten picked off, he would have had a 2-run home run, but that's just the way it works out sometimes. Tigers take a 4-1 lead. And here is Chet Lemon. That's a 5-10, and that's a fly ball to center field. 2 down. 2 away for Tom Brookins. Oh, I didn't know he likes when kickers miss extra points. That's kind of an interesting philosophy. He also likes to round corners. He's got an affinity for rounding corners. But here we don't cut corners or round corners. We go for the gusto. Here's Brookins, 6'5", and that is a fly to center to end the inning. But 2 solo home runs, and it is a 4-1 ball game as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Jack Morris back out, has a 3-run lead to protect. He'll be facing the heart of the order, Bradley, Davis, and Presley for the Mariners. Bradley is first time up, grounded to Trammell. 2-3 for Bradley. This time he's going to ground it to Brookins. Easy play, 1 away. Morris going for win number 9. Alvin Davis. 2-9 for Alvin Davis. He grounds it back to the pitcher, Morris, for an easy play. 2 down for the Hound Dog, Jim Presley. He is 0 for 1. Whoa, that guy missed terribly. Fell right out of my hands. Hello, Jeremiah. Good to see you. 5-5, and that is a strikeout for Morris. I believe that's his first strikeout, and it is. It took him 4 innings to get one, but he finally got one. But more importantly, he has a 4-1 lead with which to work. And we go to the 5th, still 4-1 Tigers. 4-1 Tigers. Here's Lou Whitaker. He's 0 for 2. That is a 211, and that's a ballpark single check, but it's only a 1-5. And that will end up being a line out to second base for 1 away. So Sweet Lou, 0 for 3. Yes, I know Lou Piniella was Sweet Lou, but I also called Lou Whitaker Sweet Lou. Here's Bill Madlock. 5-6. 1-3 is a double. 4-20 is a fly to left. And that's a fly to left, put away by Phil Bradley. 2 down. And that sends up Kirk Gibson. 1-7 for Gibson, and that's a home run. 1-15. This would be ultimate payback for being hit by a pitch. 1-15, and it's gone. 16, he will settle with a double. Gibson just misses the long ball. He does get the double. That's the 17th double of the replay for Kirk Gibson. He's in scoring position for Alan Trammell. First base is open. If they had some gumption, you could think about walking Trammell, but Noakes is right behind him, and he's very dangerous, so they'll go ahead and pitch to Trammell. In the clutch, Trammell will lose some hits, 1-8, 1-9, and 2-6. That's 2-4, and that's going to be a ballpark single check. So once again, only a 1-5. And that's going to be a ground out to short to end the inning. So Campbell will go 5 innings for sure. He might make it 6 because his fatigue is the 6th inning. Still keeping his team somewhat in the game. He's been hurt by the long ball the last couple of times, last couple of runs. But they were solo home runs, so that keeps him in the game. And now Jack Morris back out, and he will be facing Scott Bradley, the catcher, followed by Phelps and Moses. That is a 1-9 for Bradley, and that's a solid single to left field. And the sirens are going off down the street somewhere, as I do live next to a fire department, I don't know if you call them office or station. I guess it's called a station. I live right down the road from a fire station, so I can really hear them coming closer now. So as long as they aren't coming here, we're in good shape. And I don't think that's happening. So Ken Phelps, your batter. 6'9", and that is a ballpark blast for Ken Phelps. You know he has normal power. A 1-17, and we got a 1-run game again. Ken Phelps on the 6'9". Ballpark blast, 1-17, and that is gone. Ken Phelps, a 2-run home run. Jack Morris was susceptible to long balls. And right here, he gives up another one. 2-run home run from Phelps. That is home run number 17 on the replay. He had 27 of them real world. RBIs 43 and 44. Cuts the lead to 4-3. Nobody out. And here's John Moses. For Morris, that is the 23rd home run he has given up on the season. He gave up 39 real world home runs. 39 home runs real world. So he was definitely susceptible to the long ball. So here's John Moses. 1-6, and he grounds it to Brookins. 1 away. Moore's trying to shake off that Phelps blast. And here's Quinones. 5-8 for Quinones. Struck him out. Moore's strikeout number 2. Brings up Harold Reynolds. 5-3. Switch hitter batting left. That's a fly ball to left field. Kirk Gibson. He is a 3. 3-10. I do believe he'll get to that. We'll verify, but I believe it's an F2. 3-10 is an F2. And his error rating is an E10. So he has to avoid 3, 4, and then 14 through 18. So 3, 4, or 14 through 18. And that is a 13. So he barely misses out. I'm telling you, E10. 13 was the error, but 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 are the errors, and that's a 13. So Gibson A little nonchalant, but does make the play to end the inning. But at the end of 5, we got a good one here. It's Detroit 4, Seattle 3. We head to the 6th. Detroit won this game real world 7-3. Campbell back out. This is his fatigue inning. So the bullpen is active for Seattle. It'll be Noakes, Sheridan, and Evans. Actually, this is going to be it for Campbell. We're going to cap Campbell at 5 innings. This is his major league debut, so his arm probably isn't stretched out the way it should be. So 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs. They were earned. He walks 1 and hits a batter, and he strikes out 3. So Seattle, with all these lefties coming up for Detroit, Seattle's going to the bullpen for their left-handed reliever, Stan Clark. So Stan Clark is going to come on. And he will be facing Noakes, Sheridan, and Evans. And we'll get the information on Clark as we go to the bullpen. So a so-so outing for Mike Campbell. Not the best, obviously, but he did keep his team in the game, and I guess that's one of the big things you need to do is keep your team in the game. So Clark, as you can see here, was 2-2 with a 5.48 ERA real world. On the replay, he's 0-1, but his ERA is 12.127. I'm sorry, 12.27. 11 innings pitched, 19 hits, 6 walks, and 9 strikeouts. He's given up 6 home runs in 11 innings of pitching. That might be due to the Kingdom. I don't know. So lefty-lefty with Matt Noakes to start things out. That is a 6-10. That's ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Quinones, a 3 E31. 3 and a 17 is good. E31 just has to avoid once again. And the E31's got to avoid the 15 through 18 and then the 4 and the 6 as well. And that's a 6. He did not avoid it. So that's going to be an error on Quinones. E31 and a 6 is right there for an error. And that's the second error on the Seattle Mariners in this game. Second one by Quinones. He's booted 2 balls now. So maybe he needs to get with Harold Reynolds and watch some more baseball tonight. Figure out how to make these fielding plays. That'll bring up Pat Sheridan. He doesn't hit much against lefties, but they love his defense, so we're not going to pinch hit for him. Not while they have the lead. That's a 2-12, and that's a ground ball third base B. They'll get the fielder's choice. 5-4. 1 away, and Sheridan now. +2 on the hold. If he got the lead, it'd be a 1-15. But he got picked off last time, so they're going to hold him there. And here's Darrell Evans. Evans. 2-5 against the lefty. It's a ground ball first base B. So Davis goes to short for the force. And Evans will be the new runner. So 2 fielders' choices in a row for 2 outs. Evans will not be held. And here's Chet Lemon. He's flown to center twice. That's a 2. That's a 2. Looking at a balk chance, he's got a 0 balk rating, so no balk. Lemon, 4-7, and that's trouble. 1 to 10 is a double. 11 to 20 is a single. 2 stars both ways, so the runner cannot score either way. That will be a single, 2 stars for Chet Lemon. Going to move Evans to third. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. Clutch situation now for Tom Brookins. Brookins in the clutch against left-handers will lose a hit on 2-3 and 2-8. Hello there, Mr. D. Scott. Hello, Jason. 6-11, and that's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Kingery. Kingery is a 3E3. 3-20, he'll get to that. E3, the only errors for an outfielder on E3 are 3, 15, and 18. So he's got to avoid 3, 15, and 18, which he does and makes the play to end the inning. So Clark pitches around the Quinones error. And we go to the bottom of the sixth. It's still 4-3 Tigers. They had a much more comfortable 7-3 win in Real World. Morris back out, and he'll be facing the top of the order. Kingery, Bradley, and Davis. Scheduled hitters for the Mariners. Kingery 0 for 2. 2-6, and that's a ground ball to Brookins, one away. So I'm kind of glad I did reboot the stream because I'm not sure it ever would have cleared up, and we would have had fuzzies the whole time. So I think it was worth it to do that. It was early enough in the game where the game had just started. So didn't lose anything. There's Bradley, 5-4, and that's a strikeout from Morris, and that is his third. As it gets Phil Bradley on strikes. 2 down now for Alvin Davis, first baseman. 2-8 for Davis, and that's going to be a 1-7 double. 8-20 will be a single. And that's a single for Alvin Davis. He's now the tying run on base. With 2 outs, he's no threat to run. And Jim Presley, the batter. Presley 0 for 2. And that is a 2-10. And it's a ground ball to Trammell, and that'll do it. Nothing for the Mariners in the 6th. We go to the 7th inning. Score still Detroit 4 and Seattle 3. Due up for the Tigers, it'll be the top of the order. Whitaker, Madlock, and Gibson. So the lefty Clark will stay in there for Seattle as he's facing 2 out of 3 lefties. So Whitaker is 0 for 3. He's looking to make something happen. That is a 4-8 lefty-lefty, and that's a ballpark blast home run for Whitaker. 1-17, and Lou Whitaker will break out and go deep. He's already exceeded his home run total for the replay. Real world, he had 16 home runs. He's already had 17 in the replays, going for number 18 on a 1-17. And he does not get it. The 19 takes it away from him, so it will be a fly to right. So Whitaker will have to stand on 17 home runs for now. As he hits a deep fly to right. He's now 0 for 4 on the day. Here's Bill Madlock. 3-7 for Madlock. That's a base hit. 2 for 4 now for Madlock. And that'll send up Kirk Gibson. Lefty-lefty matchup against Gibson. 1-10, and that's a single to right field by Gibson. And now the Seattle bullpen loosening again. And they may need to go to a right-hander. Although you do have 3 lefties coming up after Trammell, so I guess they're going to stick with Clark and see if he can get out of this. Facing Trammell. Well, that one die didn't go. He went over the edge, didn't go through the chute, so let's try that again. There we go. 6-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop C. You don't see that happen very often. That's a shortstop C, but that's what is on the card, so that's what we'll go with. 2 down, and now it's Matt Noakes in a clutch situation. Second and third, 2 outs. First base is open, so obviously the option is there possibly to walk Noakes and pitch to Sheridan, and that's what they're going to do. They're not going to let Matt Noakes blast away at him. So Clark will walk Noakes intentionally, and they will pitch to Pat Sheridan with the bases loaded and 2 outs, clutch situation. Sheridan will lose a couple of hits, 3-5 and 3-9. Clark to Sheridan. 3-8, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. And that's going to do it for Clark, I do believe. Clark's going to be done. He's going to go his 2 innings, 2 shutout innings for Stan Clark. So all in all, not a bad outing for Mr. Clark. 2 innings. He's going to give up 3 hits, no runs, which was the most important. He walked 1, and that was an intentional walk, and he struck out 1. So that'll do it for the Tigers. We go to the 7th inning stretch here in Seattle. Score still 4-3. Jack Morris back out. And for Seattle next inning, they will be going to eastbound and down Jerry Reed. He will be in the new pitcher for Seattle in the 8th inning. Jerry Reed. Reed's a +6 hold, so that's horrible. But we'll see what happens going forward. Bottom of the 7th inning stretch time. And it is going to be Bradley, Phelps, and Moses due up for the Mariners. And this is the leadoff setup that we had 2 innings ago that produced the last 2 runs for the Mariners. So Jack Morris will have to be cognizant of that. So Scott Bradley to lead it off. 6-9 against Morris, and that's a ballpark blast. However, he has weak power, so 1-17 will only be a single, not a home run. And it's a leadoff single for Scott Bradley, and this inning starting just like the 5th. A leadoff single for Scott Bradley, and now we're looking at Ken Phelps. Morris has got to avoid that ballpark blast. That is a 5-7. 5-7 is a 5-7 is a walk. So he walks Phelps. Pitched a little bit too carefully to him. Walks Phelps. That's the second walk issued by Morris. And now first 2 are on. Nobody out for John Moses, who's an A bunter. So he will be getting the call, the bunt sign to bunt. That's a 1. So Morris's wild pitch range is 18, so he may not need to bunt. 1-18, and we got a wild pitch. And we do, so that's going to take the bunt off of there because the wild pitch did what the bunt was supposed to do. And now they got runners at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. And the Tigers going to play the infield in. Try to choke the runoff against John Moses. 2-4 for Moses. That's a pop-up to third base. A nice bit of pitching there by Morris. Gets Moses to pop it up in the infield. Everybody stays put. 1 away for Ray Quinones. And they're going to see if, again, the infield's still in, as you would expect. Quinones. And that is a 4-11 for Quinones. And that's a fly ball right field X. That's why you want to keep Sheridan out there. He's a good outfielder. 2-9. 2-5 is iffy, but I think he'll get to this. But it might be a sacrifice fly. So let's see. 2-5 is an F2, so it will be a sacrifice fly. We will have a tie game at worst. Sheridan's an E9, so he's got to avoid a 3-11, 16, and 18. And that is a 14, so he's fine. It will be a sacrifice fly to right field by Quinones. And we are all tied at 4 apiece. Four to 4 ball game, 2 outs. Runner at 2nd for Harold Reynolds, a clutch situation. Clutch situation for Reynolds. And in the clutch, he loses a couple of hits, 1-9 and 110, also 2-9 and 210. That's a 5-11, and that's a ballpark blast. But again, he has weak power. But the ballpark blast would produce a single, 1-17, and it's a base hit for Seattle. They take the lead, 5-4, and Morris may be tiring a bit. They're going to try to get him through the inning, if at all possible. But in the meantime, they do have action in their bullpen. Mark Thurmond, a left-hander, is loosing in the bullpen. They're going to try to see if they can get Morris to get that last out. Reynolds, however, might be looking to run. Reynolds needs a 2 through 6 or a 9 to get the lead. And that's an 8, so he does not get the lead, so he will hold. And Mike Kingery steps to the plate. So now Stan Clark can be the pitcher of record. He's now the pitcher of record for Seattle. Oh, I've already done that roll, so don't need that. 4-6 lefty is a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he's not reached fatigue yet. So Morris with strikeout number 4, but that's going to do it for Morris. He is done. He's going to go 7 innings, and he's going to give up 5 runs. They were all earned. And he's going to give up 6 hits. The walks kind of got him into trouble a little bit too. He had 2 walks. This one here really got him into trouble. And he struck out 4. But he's on the hook for the loss unless Detroit can come back. And we'll see if that is indeed the case. And since he got out of the inning now, Thurman has sat down, and Mike Henneman is actually loosening in the Detroit bullpen, right-hander. So Henneman will be the new pitcher coming on. And he is a -5, makes him a -4. But for Seattle, Mr. Eastbound and down, Jerry Reed, he's going to do what they say can't be done, which is try to save this ball game. Jerry Reed on the replay, 1-2 with a 3.42 ERA. And we'll see, bring him on the computer and see what kind of numbers he has on the replay. Jerry Reed. So Reed on the replay, or in real world, as I said, was 1-2 with a 3.42 ERA and 7 saves. On the replay, he is 2-3, but his ERA is 8.57. He does have 5 saves, but 42 innings pitched and 65 hits allowed, plus 14 home runs allowed. He only allowed 7 home runs all year, real world, and he's already allowed 14 in roughly half the innings. So he's definitely been done in by the long ball, and pitching in the Kingdom may not be the best antidote for him. We shall see. So Jerry Reed facing Darrell Evans. And we get a 3-6 for Evans, and that's a leadoff walk. So the tying run is right back on base for Detroit. Evans not much of a runner. Might be looking at a pinch runner. In fact, we will be looking for a pinch runner for Darrell Evans. And let's see who a good pinch runner would be. They're going to go to this guy, Jim Whalewander. He will be the pinch runner, and Dave Bergman will come in and play first base. But Whalewander will be the guy who gets the pinch running call, and he's going to be looking to steal a base as well. So Whalewander will pinch run here in the 8th, and then in the bottom of the 8th, Bergman. So they do upgrade defensively at first base for sure with Bergman. So Bergman is your new first baseman. And instead of a 4E5, Bergman's a 2E12. It will be a 2E12, Will Bergman. All right, so Whalewander is going to look to see about getting a lead. He needs a 2 through 7 to get the good lead. And he does with a 4, so he's going to go. He's a 15, being held as a 13, but then you got the +5, makes him an 18. So 1 to 18, he will steal second base, which he does. So it's a stolen base for Jim Whalewander. So Sparky pulling some strings, trying to use that bench to the most effective possibility. And for Whalewander, that is his running, not his hitting. So Whalewander will steal second base. As we look at stolen bases for Whalewander. Oops, wait a minute, what's going on? Why did it do? I got to back that up. Still had Evans in the game, so let me back this up and fix this and bring in Whalewander. I don't know why. I hit the substitute button, so I don't know why I didn't take it. So we'll try again. Whale Wander. Oh, I see what happened. I put him in the wrong spot. I put him as a pinch hitter instead of a pinch runner. Good thing for the undo button. So we'll undo all that. And Evans will walk. And now Whale Wander will come in and pinch run. If this Strat computer did not have the undo button, I would be lost. So here's Whale Wander. He will run for Evans, and he will steal the base. Now we go to check Whale Wander and see what his stolen base totals were real world versus replay. In the real season, Whale Wander stole 2 bases, got caught once, and this is his first stolen base of the replay. So it comes in handy. Whale Wander gets that steal. He runs at a 15 as well. So on a single with no stars, he may be able to score. You never can tell. Here's Chet Lemon. Lemon, 1 for 3. That's a 211 for Lemon. That's a ground ball to third, and that will freeze Whale Wander at second base. So Lemon unable to move the runner up 90 feet. That's what you're supposed to do when you're got a guy at second with nobody out. You have to at least get him to third, but Lemon did not do that. Brings up Tom Brookins, third baseman. That's a 2-8 for Brookins, and that's a single 2 stars. That'll get the run home and tie the game. Gets Jack Morris off the hook. In fact, Jack Morris could get the win if the Tigers take the lead. That's why I wanted to have him finish the inning, because he's still a pitcher of record if the Tigers take the lead. Right now we are tied at 5 apiece. Brookins gets the job done. He's going to try to steal a base. Needs a 6 or a 7. Does not get the lead. He will hold. And here comes Lou Whitaker. 0 for 4, so you know he's due. 6-4, and that's going to be a catcher X. We're looking at Scott Bradley. He is a 4E9, 4 and an 11 for a catcher. Could be a pass ball of some sort. 4 and an 11 is a potential pass ball or a foul out, depending on what happens. Bradley's an E9, and that's a 7. E9, there is no 7 there, so it's a P/F. So we're looking at the wild pitch rating of the pitcher to determine if a pass ball has occurred. And the wild pitch rating on Jerry Reed, so look on the computer for that because the cards don't have it. He's a wild pitch of 2. 1 to 2, it's a pass ball. 3 or higher, it's just going to be a foul out to the catcher. And that's what it is. So Whitaker fouls out to Bradley. 2 down. Whitaker's had a rough day, 0 for 5. For Sweet Lou. Not so sweet today. So clutch situation. Actually, not a clutch situation. Runner's still only at first. So Bill Madlock, who's had a good day, he's 2 for 4. 6-5, and that's a fly to center to end the inning. But Morris has now been taken off the hook. And now the pitchers of record are Henneman and Reed. As the Tigers will go to their bullpen and bring in Mike Henneman. They're also got to make the defensive change and bring in Bergman to play first base and hit in the number 7 position, formerly held by Darrell Evans. So coming in the game to pitch is Mike Henneman. So we'll get a look at Henneman and his numbers. I can find his card. I just had it a second ago. Now I can't find it. There he is. He got buried under somebody else. So we'll look at Henneman up close and personal. Mike Henneman, 11-3, 298 ERA for Mike Henneman. 11-3, 298 ERA. He also garnered 7 saves. On the replay, he is 3-4. With 5 saves and a 4.80 ERA, 30 innings pitched, 43 hits, 5 walks and 20 strikeouts. And he'll be facing Phil Bradley to start things off here in the bottom of the 8th, tied at 5 apiece. 4-10, and that's a fly ball center field X, Chet Lemon. 2 with an E4. 2 and a 4. I think you'll still get to that, though. Let's see. 2 and a 4 is an F1. He does get to it. His error rating is an E4. The only errors are 4, 16, and 18. And he makes the play. So Lemon retires Bradley. 1 down. And that'll take us to Alvin Davis. That's a 3-6 for Davis, and that's a 1-17 single. Anything else, it's a line out to second. And that's a base hit for Alvin Davis. He's 3 for 4 in the game. And that'll bring up the hound dog, Jim Presley. 2-8 for Presley, struck him out. First strikeout for Henneman. And now we got the catcher, Scott Bradley, stepping to the plate. Scott Bradley is 2 for 2, 2 singles and a walk, 2 runs scored. That is a 6-2 ground ball shortstop X. They were not holding Davis on, so Trammell will keep his 1 E21, so we know he's going to get to it. We're only looking at E21 for now. And E21 for a shortstop, he's got to avoid 6, 15, and 17. Those are the 3 numbers to avoid. And he does that just fine, and that will end the inning. So we go to the 9th, tied at 5 apiece here at the Kingdom. Jerry Reed back out will face Gibson, Trammell, and Noakes. Or do they go to the left-hander? I think they're going to go to left-hander Wilkinson. So Reed is going to go 1 inning and give up a run, blow the save, gave up a hit, walk, nothing else. So Bill Wilkinson, the left-hander, the other left-hander for Seattle, the other white meat. Bill Wilkinson. Where did you go? I just saw you a second ago. Now I can't find you for some reason. You get knocked under something else. Let's see where he went to. I know he's here. I saw him. Just have to find him. Bill Wilkinson. You sure he's not? There he is. He was just stuck behind Roy Thomas. That's why I couldn't find him. All right, so Bill Wilkinson, we'll get the numbers on Wilkinson. We'll bring him on the computer first, and then we'll get the numbers. For the left-hander, Bill Wilkinson. So Wilkinson on the real season was 3-4 with a 3.66 ERA. He also recorded 10 saves on the regular season. In the replay, he's 4-1 with a 3.16 ERA and 4 saves, 37 innings pitched, 32 hits, 11 walks, 36 strikeouts. And he will be facing Kirk Gibson. He's a -1 on his hole, which makes him a +1. So Gibson will lead things off. Lefty-lefty matchup, top of the 9th, tied at 5. We get a 6-4, and that's an in-home run straight up the bat off of Wilkinson's card, and Gibson will go deep. That is his – he's going to miss the cycle by a triple. He's got a double, single, and a home run now for Kirk Gibson. That's home run number 14 on the replay. He had 34. He had 24 of them real world. This is home run number 13 on the replay, RBI number 42. And he greets Bill Wilkinson with a solid home run. And just like that, Tigers with the lead 6-5. Here's Trammell 3-7, and he will fly to center, 1 away. Willie Hernandez is starting to loosen in the Tiger bullpen. Not sure if they want to have Henneman try to finish it out, or will they bring in Willie Hernandez for the save? We'll have to find out when the time comes. Here is Matt Noakes. That's a 5-10 for Noakes. He's going to fly at the center. Two down. Here's Pat Sheridan. 3-5, and a 3-5 is a solid single for Pat Sheridan. 2-out single for Sheridan. Brings up Dave Bergman to hit for the first time since coming in as a defensive replacement for Darrell Evans. Bergman on the replay is hitting .250, 2 homers, 13 driven inning at .273 in the real season. That's a 5-11, and that's a ground ball pitcher X right back to Wilkinson. Wilkinson is a 3 E19. 3 and a 9 for a pitcher should be sufficient, I would think. 3 and a 9. And that's a G3. That's good enough. And then the error, E19. So on the E19, he has to avoid 6, 9, 12, 15, 17, and 18. And a 9, I think that's one he had to avoid. Let's see. E19, is there a 9 there? There is a 9 there. So it will be an error on Wilkinson as he boots it. And that is the third Seattle error of the game. 2 on All right, it looks like it's cleared up. At first I had circles and my computer was freezing up, but I think it's cleared up now. Hopefully it has. So, Chet Lemon. Chet Lemon is up. It looks like we're back in business. I'm not sure what that little hiccup was, but thank goodness it didn't last. So Chet Lemon, a clutch situation for Lemon. Lemon in the clutch. Where'd he go? Lemon in the clutch actually is completely neutral against left-handed pitching. That is a 1-9 for Lemon, and that is a double. It's going to be an insurance run. 1 to 14 is a double. 15 to 20 is a single. That's a double for Chet Lemon. It's a 2-star double, so only 1 run will score. Going to third is Bergman. But an RBI double for Lemon. And the Tigers get that insurance run and now lead it by the score of 7-5. And that brings up Tom Brookins. That's a 2. Balker pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball chance on Scott Bradley, which is only a 1. So there's no pass ball there. Here's Brookins. He's in a clutch situation as well. Against a lefty, he loses hits 2-3 and 2-8. That's a 3-9, and he'll ground to short to end the inning. But the Tigers take a 7-5 lead as we head into the bottom of the 9th. Wilkinson will go 1 inning. He's going to give up. The second run there is unearned. So 2 runs, 1 earned. Gave up 3 hits. No walks, no strikeouts. So that'll send up Phelps, Moses, and Quinones for the Tigers. And I believe, unless Chuck has objections, I believe I'm going to bring in Willie Hernandez to try to finish off this game for the Tigers. Seven to 5. Due up, like I said, is Phelps, Moses, and Quinones. You got that tough left-hander Phelps. One of the main reasons to bring in Willie Hernandez. Plus, he's a good pitcher. He's traditionally a closer. So Willie Hernandez, 3-4, 3.67 ERA, real world. And we'll see what he's done on the replay. And we'll close the book on Henneman. He went 1 inning. He's going to be the pitcher record to get the win. He goes 1 inning, gives up a hit, nothing else with a strikeout. So now Guillermo, don't call me Willie Hernandez, is in the game. -2 on his hold, which makes him a -1. We'll look at the Seattle bench. They do have one good right-handed pinch hitter in John Christensen, and they'll probably go to him at some point. But right now, Willie Hernandez, in fact, the Strat-O-Matic computer has his name as Guillermo Hernandez, which is interesting. So Hernandez, like we said, was 3-4 with a 3.67 ERA, and he had 8 saves real world. On the replay, he is 1-2 with 5 saves and a 4.60 ERA. 16 innings pitched, 14 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. And he'll be facing the tough left-hander Ken Phelps to start this bottom of the 9th. 7-5 our score. Seattle won the real game 7-3, so we're not too far off. Although I don't think it was this close in the 9th in the real game. 2-10 for Phelps, and that's a fly to center. Boy, he just missed a ballpark blast. So Willie Hernandez caught a break there, 1 away. 1 down for John Moses, switch hitting center fielder. He's 0 for 3. That's a 6-9 switch hitter batting right, and that's a ballpark blast, but he has weak power. So it would be a 1-17 for a leadoff for a 1-out single, and he does get the single. And now we'll get a pinch hitter for Quinones, and that'll be John Christensen, the right-hander. He's the best right-hand. Actually, no, I take that back. It's not going to be him. It's going to be Mickey Brantley. Mickey Brantley is a much better hitter. So Brantley is aboard. And if the game goes to a bottom or a top of the 10th, it would bring in Domingo Ramos to play shortstop, if that's necessary. But right now, they are bringing on Mickey Brantley. Pinch hit here in the 9th for Mr. Quinones. So we'll bring Brantley on and see what he's done on the replay, as well as his real world accomplishments in 1987. So Brantley hitting .267 on the replay, 6 homers, 15 driven in. He hit .302 real world. He is the tying run at the plate. 2-7, and that's a double 1-7, single 8-20, 2 stars each way. And that'll be a double, pinch hit double for Brantley. And that's going to put runners at second and third with 1 out. And they will allow Reynolds to hit. He's a .275 hitter, so we're not going to hit for him. Although we could get a pinch hitter for Mike Kingery. Looks like Christensen is on the on-deck circle to hit for Kingery. Second and third, 1 out. The infield's playing back because they do lead by 2 runs, so giving up an RBI groundout is not going to hurt them. Hernandez facing Harold Reynolds with 1 out. That's a 1-9 for Reynolds, and that's a single 2 stars. It's anti-clutch, but there are not 2 outs. So the single 2 stars has tied this game, and it's a blown save for Guillermo Hernandez. He blows the save. 2-run single. And now he's got to deal with Harold Reynolds on base prowess. Let's see if he tries to steal the base. He needs a 2 through 6 or a 9 to get the good lead. And he gets the good lead with a 6, so he's going to go 18 being held as a 16, -1's a 15. 1-15, he's in there. And he's got caught stealing. Wow, Harold Reynolds caught stealing. 2-6. 2 outs now. So Ramos will come in and play short, assuming we go to a top of the 10th, which it certainly looks like we will. So Ramos will be the shortstop in the 10th. Now Kingery will be called back, and they will go to the right-handed hitting John Christensen. Sound's not, you lose your sound, Paul? Everybody else is saying it's okay. I don't know. Is it okay for everybody?
Sound's not
okay. I'm getting sound on my end, so hopefully it's just a local issue, not a stream issue. So John Christensen, the pinch hitter, will come in with 2 outs and the base is empty. And he would take over and play right field. John Christensen, pinch hitter in the 9th, right fielder in the 10th, assuming we go to a 10th, which I assume we will, but you never know. But first, we got to put the caught stealing in the computer for Harold Reynolds. Cardinal mistake there for Reynolds to get caught stealing. And now we go to the bench for Mr. Christensen. Christensen on the replay is hitting 247, 3 homers, 11 driven in. He had 242 real world. Here's Christensen. That is a 1-5, and that is a pop out to third. That'll end the inning. We've got free baseball. Free baseball. So it's a blown save for Willie Hernandez. He's going to go 1 inning, give up 3 hits and 2 runs. And now we're looking at either Thurmond or Eric King. Probably Eric King will come in the 10th, most likely. I suspect that will be the situation. So Seattle needs a new pitcher. Here in the top of the 10th, let's see who they're going to go to. Only have a few options left. They have Edwin Nunez, who's like their, well, you might as well bring in your closer because it's not a save situation anymore. So Edwin Nunez is going to come on for the Mariners. He's a -4, which makes him a -2. So Nunez is going to come on for Seattle. I'll put him in the lineup. So let's get the numbers on. Let's get the numbers on Nunez. Nunez, real world, 3-4, 3.80 ERA, and he had 12 saves. On the replay, he is 1-1 with a 3.38 ERA. So Nunez will be facing the top of the order, Whitaker, Madlock, and Gibson. That's a 4-9, and that's going to be a fly to center. 1 down. For Bill Madlock. And we got a spam call coming in, just what we need. All right. 2-4 for Madlock against the right-hander. That's a ballpark single check, but it's only a 1-5. And that'll be a line out to short. Out number 2. Eric King is ready in the Tiger bullpen to come in the bottom of the 10th. Oh, okay. Glad you're back to hearing us, Paul. Here's Gibson, 4-12, and that's a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So Nunez pitches a 1-2-3 10th inning. He would certainly come back for the 11th if there is an 11th. Seattle's hoping there's not. Detroit hoping there is. And we're going to go to right-hander Eric King out of the bullpen. He can certainly give them some innings as well. He's got a fatigue of 3 as a relief pitcher. He is 6-9 with a 4.89 ERA real world. And we'll get his numbers on the replay as well. He is on the replay. He's 2-2, 3.21 ERA and 4 saves, 67 innings pitched, 60 hits, 26 walks, 51 strikeouts. He's a -1 on his hole, which makes him a 0. So King will be facing Bradley, Davis, and Presley, scheduled hitters. Bradley, Davis, and Presley. So King to Bradley. That is a 1-8 for Phil Bradley, and that's a strikeout. 1 away for Alvin Davis. That is a 1-5, and that's a walk. So the winning runs at first base with 1 out for Jim Presley. 6-11 for King. That's a ground ball pitcher X. King is an E13. And his range, I got to get that off the computer. King's range is a 2. So he's a 2 E13 as a pitcher. 2 and a 17. This is a possible double play. As long as there's no error, there'll be a double play. He's an E13. He's got to avoid 11, 13, and 17. And he gets an 11. How do you like that? He boots it. He turns a double play ball into an error. An E13 pitcher, and 11 is a 1-base error. That's the first error on the Tigers. Couldn't have come at a worse time. E1. It's going to extend the inning. Inning should have been over. So Scott Bradley is going to step up here. First and second. 1 out for Scott Bradley. 4-8, and that's a walk by Eric King. So that's going to load the bases. The only guy they left in the bullpen is Mark Thurman. He's the only one still left in the bullpen. So don't know if we bring him in to face Phelps or not. We might have to if King is going to start walking guys. But King is the guy that can give you the long relief as well. So I don't know. Chuck, if you're around, do you want to let King try to get out of the mess, or do we bring in the final pitcher, Mark Thurman, who's going to have to go the rest of the way most likely, and try to get Phelps out, lefty-lefty, although Phelps does hit pretty well against left-handers. Ride with King. All right, we're going to ride with King. The bases are loaded, 1 out, so the infield's going to have to come in because Phelps is not one to hit a lot of ground balls, although he does have some ground ball A's here. Well, I don't know. Actually, they're going to play back for the double play. They're going to play back for the double play because he's got a couple of pluses there that could cost him. So they're going to play back for a double play chance. Eric King. Phelps against King. That is a 5-4. Fly ball center field X. So Chet Lemon's got to make this play and make it to the point where there can't be a sacrifice fly. And he's a 2 in the outfield. So the only way to avoid a sacrifice fly and keep the game going is if we get a 16 or higher. Anything 15 or lower, it's either going to be a hit or a sacrifice fly. So this has to be a 16 or higher or the game is over. It's a 6. It's actually going to drop. Actually, it's going to be an F2. Right here, we'll make sure there's no error just to clean things up. E4 and a 9. There's no error there. But the F2 means it's a sacrifice fly for Ken Phelps. And that'll do it. The Mariners will walk it off against Eric King. Mariners win it by the score of 8-7. As Nunez will get the win. And King will take the loss. King will now drop to 2-3. And let's see, he goes 2/3 of an inning. And it's an unearned run because the error is what killed him. And 2 walks didn't help the cause either. No hits by the Mariners in this bottom of the 10th, but that's just the way it goes. Nunez, his 1 inning, he didn't give up anything. So if we look at the line score, for the Mariners, 8 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors. For the Tigers, 7 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error. Nunez with the win. Let's get his number. Nunez with the win goes to 2-1. Tough luck loss for the Tigers. They dropped to 41-36. Even further behind the Milwaukee Brewers, and actually they fall to 4th place behind the Yankees now. So they're actually a game back of the Yankees. Seattle improves to 35-45. So a wild one here in Seattle. And Willie Hernandez gave up the lead in the 9th. And Eric King couldn't get it done in the 10th. Sacrifice fly by Ken Phelps. Ken Phelps is your player of the game for the Mariners. He will win the player of the game honors as Ken Phelps. Look at his numbers here. Home run in the 6th. He had a 2-run homer in the 6th. Walked and scored in the 8th. And then the sacrifice fly to win the game in the 10th. So Ken Phelps, big Ken Phelps, designated hitter. He is your player of the game. So that's going to do it from here. Tomorrow, we will begin the July 5th schedule. And we'll be in another dome. We'll be in the Metrodome in Minnesota for the Orioles and the Twins. And that'll be game number 535. And we'll start the Sunday, July 5th schedule, which we will finish up next week. All next week, we've got to play those games for July 5th. And we're getting closer and closer to All-Star break. And, of course, there will be an All-Star game in this replay. But the All-Star game for the All-Star team for the American League will be based on replay stats, not on who the actual All-Stars were. But for the National League, we will take the actual National League All-Stars and use them against the replay All-Stars of the American League. So there you go. Seattle comes back and wins at 8-7. They flipped the script on a 7-3 score. Detroit got their 7 runs like they were supposed to, but they gave up 8. And Sparky, not too happy about it, but they'll get one more chance on Sunday, July the 5th, when the Tigers will be playing Seattle for the last time at the Kingdome. On the road trip, it'll be Dan Petrie against Mark Langston. That'll be the game on the July 5th date for Seattle and Detroit, and that'll probably be either Thursday or Friday of next week. So that's going to do it from here. Again, if you are so inclined, tonight at 9:15, we will have the Colorado Rockies against the Cincinnati Reds 2025 replay, the Rockies Horror Baseball Show. That'll be at 9:15 Eastern. And at some point this afternoon, probably around maybe 3 o'clock or so, I would say, we'll have the first 3 rounds of the PGA Championship on History Maker Golf from Quail Hollow. Scotty Scheffler, the defending champion on that in the Real World Tournament. So that's going to do it from here. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I'll see you all down the road.